Good morning, everyone. For Telesur, I'm Cody Weddle in Caracas, Venezuela. We begin this morning in Colombia. Our top story takes us to Colombia. That's where General Rubén Darío Alzate announced his resignation after being released by FARC rebels. Since his release Sunday, Alzate has faced criticism and questioning around the circumstances of his arrest. The general was found in a high conflict area that was under FARC control 2 weeks ago. He was in civilian clothing without any military guards, in violation of Army protocol. President Juan Manuel Santos has asked for an explanation. Alzate said he was there doing community service but did not go into further details. Peace talks between the Colombian government and the FARC appear to be ready to get back underway. They were put briefly on hold following General Alzate's detention. Government negotiators arrived in Havana, Cuba on Monday, where they began discussions with FARC officials about how to resume the peace talks. President Santos called off the talks when the general was detained by the FARC. The rebels have insisted on a bilateral ceasefire to avoid these types of situations. The president has rejected the proposal since the rebels first brought it up in November of 2012 when peace talks began in an attempt to end the country's 50-year civil war. In Mexico, thousands of protesters across the country took to the streets marking President Enrique Peña Nieto's second year in office, demanding his resignation. Demonstrations became violent at times as frustrated and angry protesters set cars on fire and broke windows of government buildings. Since 43 students disappeared from Guerrero State, President Peña Nieto has become increasingly unpopular. Protesters have criticized the government's lack of response, slow investigative process, and accused local, state, and national officials of corruption. And now to our correspondent in Mexico, Clayton Kahn, with more on the Ayotzinapa-related protests.
Marking the first day of his third year in office, Mexico's President Enrique Peña Nieto celebrated in Mexico's southern Chiapas state his sweeping yet polemic structural reforms.
Establish a new platform, a new legal groundwork that opens the country to greater prosperity, development, and better conditions for all Mexicans.
However, in streets throughout the country, people marched, expressing a deep distrust of the president and the country's system of justice, continuing the demand for the return alive of 43 students who were forcibly disappeared in September.
We are calling for the resignation of the Attorney General and of Peña Nieto because now, with 2 months and a week, they have not said anything on the whereabouts of those youth. They say pure lies to the parents and families.
Yet while the signs express the demand for the resignation of the president, some doubt the viability and reach that change would have at solving Mexico's deep insecurity crisis.
The denouncements of Peña are not going to solve our problems because our problems are that there is no justice nor rule of law.
The march in the Mexican capital ended late at the iconic Angel of Independence monument. With the fall or not of the president, what these demonstrators appear to truly demand is fundamental systemic changes. Clayton Kahn, Telesur, Mexico City.
President Peña Nieto's approval rating has dropped significantly since the disappearance of the 43 Ayotzinapa students. A survey by Mexican newspaper Reforma shows that 59% disapprove of his administration. Only 39% approve it. The survey suggests a drop in overall approval rating of about 10%. A similar survey conducted last April showed that only 48% disapproved of the Peña Nieto's administration, while roughly the same amount of people approved of it. The 2-week-long United Nations Climate Summit opened in Lima, Peru on Monday. Representatives from nearly 200 countries will discuss a new historic global climate deal that will focus on reducing world carbon emissions. The deal will be presented at the Paris Summit in 1 year and is expected to go into effect by the year 2020. According to official numbers, the U.S. has deported nearly 48,000 Guatemalans this year. That is a 3.5% increase from 2013. These figures were released by the Guatemalan Migration Office on Monday. Over 40,000 of the deportees are men, 6,000 are women, and 182 were children. The announcement comes as President Obama tries to push through immigration reform that would grant temporary work status to millions of undocumented migrants. Obama's administration has deported more migrants than any other in the past. In the United States, high school and college students across the country walked out of classes on Monday in protest of a grand jury decision last week to not indict Darren Wilson. He's the police officer who shot and killed unarmed black teenager Michael Brown in Ferguson, Missouri. Harvard and Stanford University students blocked traffic and access to campuses. In other cities, they simply walked out of classes. In Washington, students blocked major commuting routes. One student from Washington University in St. Louis said Brown's death was a catalyst for a lot of issues in the country. Plenty more on those stories and others at our website, telesurtv.net/English. For Telesur English, I'm Cody Weddle. Have a great day.